Ready? Play.
Hi everyone.
Hey. Sorry. Okay, yeah, we're live.
Hi
Good
Damien.
stuff. Hey, do you already see like them entering the court or something? Because I don't.
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
I was just just unsure if I chose the right stream, but I think I did. So we're gonna watch Zverev Rublev, the semifinals of the Dubai ATP 500. The first semifinal, of course. The second is Djokovic and Medvedev. And yeah, Mario, what are you expecting from this clash today? It is, we've seen this one before a lot of the time, but is it going to be different now? That's Zverev is coming back from an injury.
Let's see that probably, given that Rublev is struggling these years in this matchup, probably this is going to be one of his best chances to try to get a win against Zverev, even if I'm also happy to see Zverev quite back on track in this tournament and even in recent weeks, because I feel even in Doha he played at a decent level. Then of course, playing against Murray in crucial moments, it's not easy if you are not used to close matches, and because you came from an injury. And even in this event, of course, he didn't play so far players like Rublev or someone in the top 10-15, but still solid players that it's not easy. For example, like Sonego was playing really well, so I feel like Zverev did what he had to do, especially in some moments of the match. Rublev also wasn't perfect all week, so I think that probably given everything, I can see Rublev slightly favorite, but I think that Zverev has his chances, in my opinion. It's not like he came here as the underdog. I'm expecting a close match.
Yeah, interesting, because the bookies actually have it the other way around, with Zverev being the slight favorite. I think I'd side with that, but I also agree that it's a very good chance for Rublev to get his first win against Zverev. These how Rublev was playing in matchups against Zverev, Medvedev. This was always something that we thought was gonna like bring down his chances to get a slam, to get a Masters 1000 title. A lot of the time, these guys have been stopping him in important events. Australian Open fourth round, for example, Cincinnati final, probably the most important match between them. There was also another one at Shanghai. I guess 2016 Monte Carlo doesn't really count. Rublev wasn't really a title contender back then. But these guys have caused him a lot of pain, and yeah, this is a great opportunity. I do think that Zverev is more or less back there. I agree that against Murray he was already looking quite good. And this week, especially the way he's been serving, he had such a tough round on draw as well with Lehechka. And he maybe O'Connell and Sonego aren't exactly the sort of opponents that where you would say that okay, Zverev is back, but he played very well in these two. Maybe against Sonego there were a couple of moments where the Italian could have capitalized. He had a couple of 40-love games on Zverev's serve and didn't take them. In fact, he never broke the German. But O'Connell, for example, did not have a shot at Zverev's serve in these pretty fast, pretty slick conditions. I still think Zverev is the favorite, but it's certainly quite open. Probably the most open, a match between them has been. Although I guess the Australian Open 2020, the round 4 match, that was when a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah, you're right, because Rublev came on a roll in
exactly,
that match.
Yeah.
He was on a winning streak, and Zverev had a quite difficult 2019. So probably that was also a match in which some people could have thought that it was the chance.
I see Rublev was a slight favorite coming into that one, and And yeah, that's how it felt for a lot of people, because as you said, he was simply on a winning streak. He took the titles in Doha, Adelaide, and then
Yeah,
lost to
you're right.
Zverev in the fourth round at the Australian Open. But maybe that was also one of the reasons why he struggled in that match, because of course it was quite a lot of playtime. I mean, winning Doha since the 8th of January until the 27th of January, so the Australian Open round 4, it was his 12th match already, and yeah, back-to-back titles before the Australian Open, not necessarily maybe working in his favor. This time, I mean, they should both be fresh. Rublev, it's not like last year when he was winning Rotterdam, when he was
Mm.
he was in the final, no, sorry,
Was
not
a
Rotterdam, but
semi-finalist in
Marseille.
Rotterdam, and then
Yeah, I
he
was
won
thinking of
back-to-back
Marseille.
titles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
you're
won
right.
Marseille and Dubai, and
Was in Dubai, and actually he reached
mhm.
also the semi-finals in Indian Wells, so he went on a big winning
Oh
streak.
yeah. Right now it's not the case.
Yeah,
Definitely
no, it's
not.
not the case. Yeah, you're right. I also feel like Zverev is serving quite well,
Mhm.
because it's been a bit of an issue sometimes in his career, but I feel like he's serving pretty solid, and that's also why he's helping himself, even if he has some poor games with his forehand, like yesterday, but he's helping himself with the serve, and yeah, I think that the level was decent yesterday against Sonego. Of course, um, we will not expecting 100% from Zverev, but probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, he would have lost one of these three matches that he won this week. So some improvements. Yeah, I can feel some improvement in Zverev's games. Um, yeah, I don't know. I said Rublev probably slightly favorite, even if really I don't know why I feel that Zverev is winning this. If I have to make a prediction, um, I don't know. I'm trying to make mm, probably an objective speech, even if yeah, Rublev didn't play so well this year. I don't know. Yeah, it's I think 50-50, if not 55-45 for one of these two players, but not more.
Hey Jane. Jane says she's happy to see the dynamic duo back together. Yeah, it could be the first show we're doing together since the
Yeah, you're right.
famous Bonn I don't know, sleepover
You're right.
sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think on a recent show I did with John, he asked me like what in my mind would be a realistic target for Zverev to come back, to just come back to full form. I said I thought he was probably like if he does it until the clay season, let's say, that would be good. And it looks like he might have done it a lot earlier, actually. Like, I don't really think that there's much to, especially if he keeps it up going into the Sunshine Double. But it doesn't really look like there are any more concerns. Regardless of what happens today, if he loses to Rublev, it's not going to be a blowout. I'm pretty sure, and yeah, looks like we're gonna see Zverev back at the very top level quite soon.
Yeah, you're right. In my mind, I had clay season, to be honest,
Hmm.
because I feel like even if he won a lot on hard court, even pretty fast surfaces, and he likes them, of course. But I always felt like he was very comfortable on clay, even in struggling periods of his career. I'm thinking about doing very well always in Madrid and Rome in the clay
Yeah,
masters.
Clay
Um,
Masters better than at Roland Garros for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Even if last year he was building a chance
yeah.
at Roland Garros, so I don't know. I thought that I think that maybe on clay we can start seeing him um, near the top. Probably, I don't know. I feel like he has all the qualities to come back at the top. Of course, he's also been pretty consistent, even in periods where he wasn't playing so well. Um, in fact, he never left the top 10 before this injury. Um, let's see. I'm very, very interested because, of course, even if Rublev is not playing his best tennis lately, but of course, it's probably a good test to see how Zverev is going to do today against one of course, the 8, 9 best players in the world.
Yeah, Buongiorno the Ghost, yeah. And John is also saying that if Andrey doesn't win today, he might never win against Sasha.
It can
Kind
be.
of funny, but kind of true. I remember it was also always like when Medvedev and Rublev played, we were all expecting, Daniil to just cruise every single time. And I actually remember this very funny tweet, which came after Medvedev won the first set in their Cincinnati semifinal 2021. And I think it was the French guy Bastien on Twitter who tweeted that tennis is very unpredictable, but I'm 100% sure that Medvedev will do this to Rublev every single
You're
time
right.
they play. And then he lost the next 2 sets. Of course, that tweet gained some traction as a bit of a more of a laughing matter rather than something that people actually like. But it was good content for sure. And since Rublev has also defeated Medvedev at the Nitto ATP finals last year.
Yeah, we are 4-2 now.
5-2 if we count a challenger match from 2016.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, some count that, some don't. But
no,
yeah,
I like to count them,
like
but sometimes since a lot of people don't count them, so I learned only the ATP. Even if I like to count them because it's a match they're playing to win, regardless of if it's a challenger or even a 15,000 future. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I just really try to push it hard, that people should count every single match.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I understand not counting the juniors, maybe, that could be a bit of a stretch, like, especially if we're talking about not ITFs and like, Le Petita or any under 10s competition. It's probably not fair, but to count that. This way, Gasquet would have a win over Nadal, which actually I think he even does in the pros, but like via retirement in the challenger, and no one counts that, right? So yeah, it is a bit of a conversation topic. But anyway, what I meant with that was more like, there was a moment when we were expecting Medvedev to be 20-0 up against Rublev.
Yeah, you're right.
Happen. So maybe that point is gonna come.
First of all, we have to see if Rublev wins his first career set against Zverev today, because we are 11-love in Zverev's favor in the set count.
He's never even won a set.
No, never.
Oh wow.
I think today, regardless of he's the favorite or not, he has the chance to win at least a set. Let's see if he manages.
Yeah, he's more likely than not to win a set. Let's say that.
Yeah, you're right. 11-0. Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, this I'm not counting, but I also see that Rublev defeated him at the Adria Tour during COVID. This I'm not counting. Exhibitions, no, they shouldn't. But even Laver Cup is kind of debatable. But Adria Cup or whatever it was called, Adria Tour, sorry, it definitely doesn't count.
Okay, so we are starting because the player ended the fifth slam. Yeah.
Best fifth slam, yeah.
Zverev is serving, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit ahead because I already saw the first point.
Okay, no, I'm on the stream. I can also turn on the TV if it's probably better. So the first point has ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zverev is prepping for the second point already. But maybe we'll figure something out. It's always like that for everyone.
I'm just going on the TV at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I told someone to shut up.
yeah, I could hear. We can hear them talking a little bit in the background, although it's I don't know.
Yeah, but it will finish soon.
To me, it's
That's
not a
why,
problem, but I've heard you doing like shh. Yeah, and there's another backhand error from Zverev actually, which the first 2 points were basically the same. On the plus one shot after the serve, he just commits a backhand error.
So okay, now I'm here. I turn on the TV. A good serve, so 15-30.
Then now we're even, more or less at the same.
Okay.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because when I have tennis TV, I know that I'm like 2 points behind. But when I'm alone, I don't care because I just don't watch the live score. So
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's more of that good serving that we've been talking about. I think especially against O'Connell, he was posting like some insane numbers. But even against Sonego, other than the 2 games where he had to climb
Yeah,
back
it's
out
fine.
of, dig himself out of 40 love holes, he was basically, and even, wow, 82% first serve against Sonego. Not first serve points won, but actually first serve percentage. Which of course it would be quite insane if he managed to land that every single match while not really taking anything off. Okay, it's a pretty long rally, and Rublev has totally taken control and finally
Yeah.
forces the error. There was that great backhand which I think made you say oh.
Yeah, no,
And it was a crucial shot.
it was the forehand, the Zverev's forehand before the backhand.
Okay.
Rublev, yeah. Sometimes when I watch Zverev's forehand, I have something to say, to be honest. But yeah, of course, we couldn't be perfect in in everything. Otherwise, we would have been unbeatable. So
There was an interesting poll recently on Twitter from one of the friends of the channel, Vansh, and I guess I'll mention it. Okay, yeah,
I
Rublev
say
nets the.
the best forehand among.
Yeah, the best among the worst, basically. Like, I think the question was not really who has the best forehand, but whose forehand would you most like to have, like if you were a tennis player? And the 3 answers were Hurkacz, Medvedev, and Zverev. And I'm just gonna
Personally, I'm
say,
taking Medvedev. To be honest,
I'm just
I don't
gonna
know
say
if
that
you.
Rublev served, saved the. Sorry, Zverev saved the
Yeah.
breakpoint with an intern serve. Why Medvedev?
I feel like, of course, it's not as solid as his backhand, but I feel like among the 3, he's the more capable of taking some points with the forehand when he has confidence. And I don't know. I feel like it's probably more ugly to see that like a very very bad shot. I feel like he can do some good things with his forehand more than the other 2. But I don't know. I can be.
Yeah, I think Hurkacz is clearly not the answer there.
No,
Yeah.
I believe it too. Yeah.
Zverev, we've seen fantastic forehand matches with him. It's probably more about confidence, more so than anything else. I always tend to think about that straight setter against Rafa at the ATP finals, where he
Yeah.
was just blasting it every position on the court and then just totally destroyed the Spaniard, who of course isn't perfect in their conditions. There's another serve from Zverev, by the way, which I guess kind of sets the tone for what we're going to see in this match. And I would probably still choose Medvedev. Of course, it's kind of flawed technically. Of course, it's like really unique and weird. But still, yeah, he gets a lot of consistency on it. It has its flaws for sure. It's hard to be aggressive with it. But if I'm like saying which one of them is not really going to stop them from achieving something great. It's probably Medvedev, but I think it's pretty tight between Medvedev and Zverev.
Yeah, in fact, the results when I clicked, the results was like Hurkacz was far behind, and there were Zverev and Medvedev close one to each other, while we have now a never-ending game. Because Zverev is serving very well from the right side, the deuce court, but Rublev till for now is more solid during the rally in this game. I mean.
Yeah, I think in Djokovic Greek Sport this week there was a marathon game of like 15 minutes.
You're right.
We're not in that territory yet, I guess. It's like 8 or 6. I'm not sure.
There was 34 points in that game. 34. Like Djokovic. I remember the game. Djokovic was 6-2, 3-love. That was the game.
Yeah. And Rublev easily takes over with a big backhand return and then a forehand, inside out. And you're very right that so far it's mostly Zverev winning points with his serve, and Rublev is basically winning all the rallies. Mm-hmm. He'll get a chance to break again. This is actually just the second break point. The first was, you guessed it, an unreturned serve, and it's a let, I think. So Rublev gets another chance because this serve was actually very returnable. So perhaps he can come up with something better now.
We have a question about Berrettini. Let's see this break point first, because Rublev has got into the rally. Zverev is running a lot during the rally. In general, during the game. Now, probably he has an advantage, and he's taken the point. Yeah. No, talking about Berrettini, I have to be honest, I saw the replay this morning because I was interested to see what happened, and it's difficult to explain in my opinion, because we haven't seen a lot. I mean, like suffering or something like that on court. Also, Berrettini is not the best runner on tour, so it's also a bit difficult to. It was a bit difficult for me to understand if it was a very, very big physical issues or it was just a bad day. Of course, if you're retired, there should be, I think, a little problem. I'm leaning towards saying that there was a problem, but probably not so big problem, I think, because I saw him in worse conditions, to be honest.
Yeah, I did not catch even a glimpse of that Rune Berrettini match tonight, so no clue at all. And in the first 2 rounds, he seemed fine, but who knows? He hasn't played. I mean, he wasn't playing since the Australian Open, right? But yeah. It's like it's his usual scheduling, right? I think he's usually like that. He skips everything until Acapulco. Can't really remember him playing like Dubai or Rotterdam, right?
Last year he started in Rio.
Yeah, but that was like, did you? Oh, no, actually, no, you're right. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember because he lost to Alcaraz.
In the final.
Yeah, of course. He usually, he hasn't played often like Rotterdam.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know that because in 2019 he played Sofia and Marseille, but then in 2020 he just didn't play since the Australian Open until the end of the pandemic break, and then in 2021 he was also injured, right?
You're right.
yeah, I guess we only have 2 years to base this on, 2022 and 2023. But yeah, it looks like that's his usual scheduling. Like it's probably not injury related, but I don't know. I mean, he wasn't there for a month and a half, and it's not like he has a perfect ranking position, right? He actually needs to work on it, and he needs to get a bit higher to get the better seedings,
Yeah,
especially if he
I
can't
kind of
defend
agree.
the grass. So yeah, maybe it's
Because if
also
not,
weird.
it's
Maybe
difficult.
it was.
If not, it's difficult. You can enter a tournament where you feel comfortable, but suddenly
Yeah.
you can have a difficult draw and somehow get out because it can happen in a tight match. So
we don't have to look very far for an example, because well, last year he played Carreño Busta and Tiafoe in the first rounds, and Cincy and
exactly.
Canada, right? And lost both times. Oh, and there's the double fault from Zverev, yeah, on the third break point. This is, of course, an issue that he has been struggling with throughout his career, with the ball toss and the second serve, and it comes back to haunt him here. So Rublev gets the break.
Yeah, it ended with a double fault, but I had the feeling that so far in the rally, Rublev was more able to create himself some kind of advantages.
100%, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, whenever they're playing, it's just Rublev who was the fiercer hitter, who was able to create more offense, 100%. And a lot of that, it comes from the Zverev forehand. Even though there was that one breakpoint, I think the second breakpoint for Rublev, where Zverev was able to take control in the rally and actually like maybe use more placement than power on the forehand, but it served its job. But Rublev definitely started the match very well in terms of just baseline rhythm.
Yeah, Rublev is actually the defending champion this week.
Yeah, this time he would have a little, the opponent in the final would be a little tougher than eventually.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like Rublev is. I know that he has this issue, but I feel like this week he's struggling even more than usual with his second serve.
I guess that's a me problem.
What? You couldn't hear me?
Maybe that's a talking tennis problem.
What's up? I feel like I'm in. Okay, another question for now. Now, can you hear me?
I think I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
I think it was a me problem, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to say something, but now I totally forgot what it was. So yeah, maybe let's answer the question then. What do you make of what is going on? I mean, my stream is working, and I cannot. What the hell?
Okay. So no, I can hear you, to be honest, now. So I think that probably everyone can hear your voice. I guess. Okay, but I'm answering to the question. Because we have the question. Let's see if Rublev closes this game. So for time through his technical difficulties. So Rublev is cruising in these service games. Okay, now probably you are finally back. Oh, fantastic backend.
I don't really get it because my stream is working, and yet I dropped out of the I dropped out of the talking tennis stream, but my stream for the match is working constantly, like without issues. Okay. So I don't really get what's going on. If it happens one more time, I'm gonna change.
Now I think we have you.
If it happens one more time, I'm gonna change it to my to another internet connection.
We got a question about the drop shots. What do you make of Rune and Alcaraz and the young Gauss employing so many drop shots?
Good stuff. I mean, I love to see
Of
it.
course, it's good to have as many weapons as you can. I also feel like with some guys, like for example, same Zverev or Medvedev, who likes to stay behind the baseline, can be useful. Yeah, I mean it's a weapon that you have to be very very much careful about, because you also have to choose the right moment, and also after you hit the drop shot, since not every drop shot can be perfect, you also have to do the right thing, the right movement to yeah, I think that you have to be really 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 precise tactically when you want to use that weapon, because if not, you're losing like 80% of your points. But the two guys mentioned, Alcaraz and Rune, knows how to do this quite well. So
Yeah, I mean, they have incredible hand skills, especially Alcaraz, of course, but also you've got Musetti, who drop shots so much. And
yeah,
I guess it's also a bit of a, tennis has become so much more physical, so much faster as well. So maybe this is a more natural way of sort of breaking the rhythm now. We've got a lot of players like Daniil Medvedev, Alexander Zverev, who tend to defend 3 meters behind the court. So this is a very good tactic against them as well. So I guess this is a bit of a natural development, and it's good to watch. So I'm not going to complain at all, and especially if it's executed right.
okay, so Zverev now has three chances to erase the zero from the score.
He's not happy about the call, but doesn't seem like he will be challenging. Is there even a challenge system there, or I'm not sure. Because some tournaments right now just use the electronic calling, right?
Yeah, you're
I
right.
I don't think this does, because they have the line umpires. Watching like 5 tournaments every week, I never really know which one of them has electronic line calling, which one of them has challenge.
In Dubai, there are line judges.
Yeah, I see the line judges in the court. And
Yeah,
Zverev
okay.
gets his first game of the match, but of course, if Rublev just holds 4 more times, then the set is gone anyway. Which is something that the Russian will be able to do. Can we take a moment to appreciate the color extravaganza that is Damon's apartment walls? This is actually I'm at my family home now, so this was not a choice of mine at all. And the yellow that you see there is a wardrobe. It's not, it's furniture, it's not walls actually. All the walls are either white or green in my room. But yeah, I do like it. It's a wardrobe that I've had it, since I was like 3 or 4 when we moved here. Now you can probably see it more clearly that it's actually furniture, not the paint job.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
Okay, so talking about this start, yeah, I mean it's early, but I don't know if I was expecting this kind of rallies. Probably yes, knowing that Zverev is not 100%.
Yeah, one break so far, of course, and definitely we've seen Rublev being the more aggressive player in the rallies, which should not surprise us. Maybe what is somewhat unexpected is just how good his ball striking has been since basically the first rally of the match, since basically the first moment of it. And yeah, it's now a question of whether he can keep holding. And that first hold was quite impressive for sure. We also had a comment about Ghosty's friend, a beautiful woman, by the way, referring to the black kit that Rublev has in this tournament as Darth Andrey. I guess there was also that Darth Federer US Open look back in the day. I can't remember if it was like 2007 maybe. So it's not the first time someone has referred to a black kid like that, and yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's a darker, more intense version of Andrey Rublev, even though it's actually kind of hard to be more intense than Andrey Rublev on the court usually.
Yeah, probably intensity is not a thing that he needs. He
Yeah.
has it already. But yeah, of course it's important, and I feel like in some matches he also did a good job from a mental and psychological point of view, also against of course Davidovich Fokina is not a monster in closing matches and all this stuff, but still Rublev has been quite good to deal with his bad day at the beginning, and I feel like he's trying to be more solid mentally, and sometimes he's also succeeding. Not always, but probably he will never be a very calm player, and but of course trying to work a little bit on your personality can help you.
Ghosty is asking, did Federer ever have a meltdown? I don't remember. I'm not sure if what qualifies as a meltdown, but just not, again, not really looking far. We have that one against Zverev in Shanghai a few years ago, where he had a big argument with Nacho Forcadell about a ball abuse call. And I guess that's probably as close as you can get. Also, that one in the US Open 2009 final about the chair umpire. I can't remember who it was. When the chair umpire allowed Del Potro to challenge after like 10 seconds, and Federer said stuff like, "When I want to talk, I'll talk, and don't tell me to be quiet," and etc. I guess that's probably the closest you get. There was probably a lot of stuff in like 2001, 2000, but they're not. It's not something that anyone remembers by now.
I think yes.
The ancient era of Federer still being a bit of a much less classy individual on the court than he was later in his career. Rublev had a chance to clinch that game, but
exactly, that's a mistake.
Backhand. Yeah, and then it's deuce, so there is some chance for Zverev to build upon this.
Has Rublev ever had a meltdown?
Well, not really. Of course.
I just hate when he hit himself. I don't know. I hate it so much that I sometimes just prefer him to break the racket instead of hitting himself. I can't see him hitting himself. I hate this. Now we have another chance for 24 minutes, and we have, of course, due to that first game. This is out. Okay, so another deuce. Yeah, Jane agrees with me. Yeah, it's painful to watch. You're right. I feel pain just for myself. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know. I don't know why he has this way to vent his frustration. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and this time, this time Zverev had a couple of forehands earlier where he was, he could have taken maybe more the control for the point more, but finally he steps into the baseline a bit.
Yeah,
and
but he
finds
also
the cross-court winner.
a very good higher forehand with a high trajectory that he lets himself to
almost out, I guess. But
yeah, it was almost out, but the idea was right.
It did
And
give
now
him a
there's
lot, definitely, especially the depth on it, which was something that Rublev did not handle. And there's a break point for Zverev, of course. Nice serve, but they are going to play a rally, and it
and
seems like
it's
Rublev
long,
has
the
thrown out
backhand.
that backhand. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we are at 2-0.
Yeah, Zverev did a great job in that previous rally, but overall, I feel like we had a poor game by Rublev. He three mistakes for sure. I don't know if other. I remember 3 mistakes. 3 avoidable mistakes at the beginning of the rally, and Zverev also stayed focused and able to break his serve, and now we are 2 games all.
That's a great return from Rublev now. I guess maybe Zverev has used that serve quite a lot today, so maybe he was expecting it this time that out wide on the Discord, and he just blasts the forehand into Zverev's forehand, and there was not much he could do about it. So it's love 15. But this one, there's no response to. And a lot of these games on Zverev's serve will probably look a bit like that, where we have some very, very short rallies, maybe even some won by Rublev after big returns, because he does seem to be really going for his first serve returns even, which is probably not a poor call when he can actually land the racket on it, because of course a lot of the time he also won't be able to.
Yeah, Rublev is trying to be very aggressive on return, and sometimes has been able to find very, very good stuff.
Yeah, basically the same serve from Zverev now as in the first point of the game, and another time Rublev finds a huge forehand.
Oh. Yeah, to explain, if someone is not watching, Zverev, I think that found himself in the wrong position and tried to hit a drive volley, but it was very, very, very difficult because the impact point was very, very low. And in fact, the drive volley after the
he was like barely inside the court. Yeah, I mean it was basically a baseline drive volley, and then of course that's pretty tough.
Right, exactly. And now we have 2 break points and a break because Zverev's backhand is long.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we see someone taking a lead so far in this match, they very quickly come back down to earth. But of course,
I remember during the Australian Open, we were talking about that famous stat, break right back.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the percentage of breaking right back. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. We had 3 breaks out of 5 games. Yeah, the quality is not very, very, very high so far, in my opinion, in this match. We saw some good things, but overall the quality is not so high, and probably Rublev can take more advantage from this, in my opinion.
It's been okay-ish, but of course it's quite surprising to see this many breaks on a rather fast court in the first few games, especially as Zverev has not lost his serve since the opening round, probably had not by this point. I'm not even sure he lost it in the second or third set against Lehech. I think he lost it in the third set against Lehechka, actually. So yeah.
Probably yes. He was.
He was up a break, then it got to even. Yeah. So the past 4 sets and a half, maybe, or something like that, he was holding, and most of the time holding very easily, but not in this match. And now Rublev is again 3 holds from getting the set, but We'll see if this time it's also going to be this tricky.
Rublev and Zverev, now it's a stupid thing. Rublev and Zverev both have, especially Rublev, a lot of necklace, and I would be so annoyed by them if I were playing in a tennis match. I don't know how they. In fact, every point he has to serve, he plays with them and tries to put into the shirt. I don't know how he does it. I would be so annoyed.
Yeah, I remember this was a big conversation topic when Zverev was first coming up on the tour, especially. That in Poland, I think we also sort of have this, because of the history, you have this stereotype of a Russian, and that includes wearing a lot of stuff on your neck. And of course, Zverev doesn't represent Russia. He's just of Russian origin. But I remember this was like, I don't know if laughed off, but it was certainly something that everyone was noticing when Zverev was first showing up on the tour. So maybe Hamburg 2014, that semifinal or something like that. And yeah, I also don't really get it. I understand, wearing the such jewelry off the court. It surely means something to them. Personally, I've never really worn anything on my neck. But I'm sure it means something to them. But it seems like it would be inconvenient. But of course, it's as we can see, it's not enough to stop them from being one of the best tennis players in the world.
Yeah, of course.
The inconvenience is not that huge. And I guess when you actually start playing a point and the adrenaline goes in, you probably don't really feel it anymore. So
yeah, no, I think you're right. I was just thinking about a thing of my personality. I would be so annoyed with them. Just leave everything. While Rublev has held now to love. So yeah, we went 2 games for Rublev, 2 for Zverev, and now another couple of games for Rublev. But of course, the more we are going closer to the finish line of the set, the more difficult would be to come back in it. So let's see.
Yeah, needless to say, it's like a must-win game for Zverev, but that's not really anything that you need to know much about tennis to say that. There's some hate on Maxim Cressy in the comments. That's kind of surprising to me. He's a fun addition to the tour to me.
Yeah, I don't mind to
Oh wow. That's a pretty crazy sort of banana-ish weepy lasso forehand from Rublev. I'm not sure if Zverev was just surprised or really thought that it wasn't going to go in. I guess he was just surprised that
it's
he
like
threw
a
that on the
classic stuff
slide.
from Rublev.
Yeah, that's true. Theoretically, he's in a defensive position, but he actually gets the counter on the slide and completely stuns Zverev with it.
Yeah, to be honest, now I don't have the precise numbers, but I always, when I always looked at stats and something like that in big matches against top opponents, I know that we were talking about Rublev as struggling against Zverev in the matchup or Medvedev, but when I looked at the percentage and something like that, Rublev has always been one of the highest in terms of percentage of matches win against the top 10s and top 20 players in the last season, or even in. I feel like he's more able to play good in a big match than what we thought.
I mean, he's definitely pumped himself up for this one a lot, I think. Compared to what he's been showing on the court in the past few weeks, it's worth to remind you, guys, that he has already saved 5 match points in this event against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, and they were also consecutive. which makes it even wilder, of course. And yeah, compared to all these performances, compared to Doha, compared to Rotterdam, I think it's pretty clear that he has really motivated himself for this one. And yeah, you're right. He is a big stage player, big match player, or whatever.
Yeah, I think the most difficult matches for him mentally are when he kind of face some beatable player for him in later stages of the tournament. When the match is important and for him is a big chance because the player is probably less strong than him on paper, and probably in these matches he is not so much able to, I don't know, to deal with all the stuff, all the pressure and all these things. But when he step on the court with against top player, I think that he always build himself a chance. At least the other player doesn't have like a perfect day. For example, the final in Cincinnati against Zverev, Zverev just was, I think, unbeatable that day. I remember some of these matches, but in general, I think that Rublev is better than we can think in when he has to face one of his main rivals.
Yeah, it's a halt to 30, but there was a dangerous moment here. Rublev played a great backhand down the line, and Zverev just bailed himself out of that with that forehand squash shot, which just
Yeah,
bounced very, very low to, yeah, bamboozle Rublev, let's
yeah.
say.
No, this has been a very good game because Rublev hit two very good shots and was 15-30, but Zverev also did great to come back in the game, and the last point also was um, a vintage Zverev backhand. So yeah.
Jane is asking, do we think that Andrey is thinking about how he's never taken a set from Zverev? No
Mm,
clue. It shouldn't be an important thing for him, but maybe it is. I don't know. I can potentially like putting himself in my shoes, or rather putting myself in his shoes. Sorry, I actually can like imagine myself thinking about it. You know that I've never taken a set of him. I need to do it now. You know, just feeling more pressure because of it. We have not seen that for so far from him
yeah,
today.
I think
It,
that
it hasn't
winning.
shown.
I think that winning the match is the most
Is more
important.
important, 100% more important. Yeah.
Yeah, you can win a set, but if you lost for the sixth time, it's okay. I think that it doesn't matter much if you won or not a set.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course, in the stats, when you see 11-0, you are like, oh, wow, he's never taken off a set. But even if it was 11-1, for
Yeah,
me, it
after
wouldn't
the
change.
match, if he loses, taking a set, it's not gonna matter at all. If it matters to him, it's just right now in the moment, but definitely not after the match. Um, Jesus, I again forgot about what I wanted to say, but yeah, Ghosty says he's also never taken a set from Zverev. There was that famous Kyrgios Morgado Twitter altercation, which yeah, basically had Kyrgios asking the Portuguese Twitter member, I don't know how to call him,
Oh,
the star of Twitter, basically, yeah, telling him that he knows nothing because he's never played tennis. But and then people would use it as like a copy pasta. How many times Nick Kyrgios beat a top 10 player and how many times Jose Morgado beat a top 10 player, and etc. I think these days I haven't seen one in a while, but it was very popular like a couple of years ago.
no, I wasn't. I wasn't there a couple of years ago. Um, I started in French Open, 2021 French Open.
hmm I think I started using Twitter like August, September 2019. So I'm also not
Mhm.
like
Okay.
a big veteran. My Twitter says I started using it in January 2015, which is when I created the account. But then I just entered Twitter and I saw how complicated it seemed. I was like, nah. Sorry, I'm not gonna do that. And I actually read that a lot of people had this sort of experience that they joined Twitter, they saw it was super complicated, and didn't start using it until like 5 years later or something like that.
I feel like tactically, Rublev has a clear idea of what to make during the rally. This rally was showing it very well, because even with the backhand, he was trying to go down the line, even when it's not so comfortable, to try to make Zverev hit a lot of forehands, and then try to make him run from the other side. Yeah, of course, not a big surprise, because
Yeah, like
we know
his
very well.
usual. It's his usual plan, right? I mean, I guess he doesn't really need to do anything special here, like tactically. He's
Yeah,
just
no, he
looking
also
for inside out
played well.
forehands, and looking for inside out forehands, looking to get that big depth and power on that stroke. Looking to play the forehand whenever possible. And I guess in that way, it's actually a pretty easy matchup for him right now. But of course, it used to be a bit of a nightmare when I think he just couldn't really hit for Zverev. So far today, he can absolutely do that. In a way, maybe this court is also going to be helpful in that regard in this particular matchup. I guess they played in Cincinnati before, which should also be good for him. But 2021 Zverev, I guess, was a bit of a different beast. I don't have a clear memory of that match, but you said that it was like a perfect performance from the German as well.
Yeah, more or less like the Turin final he won against Medvedev. Pretty much the same. Was very difficult to Medvedev just to imagine what to do to try to stop this storm.
Mm-hmm.
It was more or less like that. Yeah, of course, 2021 Zverev, the end of the 2021 was probably. I think that it was the best we've seen so far in his career, even if it probably he could have hit probably a peak at, I don't know, US Open could have been his slam, but with if we don't go anywhere. So okay, that's a good serve from Rublev. So Rublev now has taken this game 5-3, and now he's very close to winning the set. Yeah, a lot of close games. Zverev is not doing so bad, but I feel like it's deserved for Rublev this score.
Yeah, I'm laughing about can you be a veteran of Twitter? I guess you can be a veteran of everything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a war, a battle, or something. I guess if you're just long at doing something for a long time, just have a lot of experience in a field of sorts, then I guess it works. Rublev's first serve is not working well against Zverev. Gonna need to tighten that up in the second set. Yeah, he's not getting that much out of it, but he's just been so comfortable in the rallies that it doesn't really matter, so far at least. But he definitely isn't getting that much out of it. Also, just 50% first serves hit. He's even won 1 point more on second serve than he has on the first serve. But I guess that just again shows how little importance that has had so far.
Mm-hmm.
Even Zverev, still hitting 75% of his first serves. He's only winning 58% of them. And that's, again, mostly due to the fact that Rublev is just very, very dominant in any rally we get, basically. Now he does not guess right this time around. It was again that out wide serve that Zverev has been going for a lot on the deuce side, and Rublev moved to the middle this time.
Yeah, service. He's saving himself in this set. Yeah, he hit that double fault on that break point, but the service helping himself very, very much. Zverev hit a bad forehand, and Rublev is also returning quite well. And now he has a set point to break for the third time. Another great return. It's very, very good, this one. But Zverev is saving himself so far. Forehand to forehand, and it's in. Forehand to forehand, it's inconvenient for probably 98% of player against Rublev, and here comes the point and the set.
Yeah.
Three breaks by Rublev, 6-3.
It is kind of inconvenient, although I guess you could argue that maybe he's even more dangerous when he's hitting forehands from the backhand side. But we've just seen Djokovic play him at the Australian Open in a quite unconventional but very effective way, where he wasn't really peppering his backhand at all. So I guess you have to be like, if you want to play like that against Rublev, you have to handle the heat. Like, you have to know that you're going to handle the heat. Djokovic did, and Zverev has not. Well, the winner's unforced errors stats have been kind of much worse than I expected, but I guess it makes sense.
I don't know. I'm on the website. You too?
Yeah, it's 5 winners, 18 unforced errors for Zverev, and 6 winners, 13 unforced errors for Rublev.
Where are you? I am on the ATP website.
I mean, I just have it on my feed.
Okay.
They're showing the stats on my feed.
No, because mine are different. I don't know why.
Okay. Are they closer? Like
I have 7-6, 7-6 for Rublev, and 6-10 for Zverev.
Yeah, that's a huge discrepancy. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I on the ATP website.
I mean, they basically said here that Zverev made 13 backhand unforced errors in this set. I don't think that can be correct, right? I mean, yeah, on Flash Score it's also 6-10 and 7-6. It was just what they showed on my feed, like the official, post stats after the set. I have no clue which one is right. Of course, we haven't really been counting. How much of a liability is Rublev's seconds? Okay. What? How much of a liability is Rublev's second serve? I've heard a lot of criticism of it. Yeah, especially when he was coming up onto the tour. I think everyone thought that this was like the huge aspect of his game that would have to improve. I'm not sure it did that much, but it's certainly like you don't really see players stepping forward into it, hitting winners off of that anymore. So I guess in a way he had to improve it a fair bit. He is also like, he doesn't double fault that much because he's just rolling the ball in to an extent. I don't think it's super important. I don't think it's as important as most of us thought when he was emerging onto the tour. It's not the most aggressive second serve in the world for sure, but he has gotten a bit better at flattening it out, and right now I think it's not what holds him back, to me at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I will never explain myself why on the ATP TV you have some stats and on the ATP website you have other stats. I don't know. It's I don't know why. other,
Yeah, the TV crew, I guess,
yeah,
prepares
it's
them
different.
for the events, and I guess there's some other ATP scouts as well.
Okay.
But you know, when I was in Warsaw last year for the WTA 250, for example, at every court there were a few seats there with just there were a few seats dedicated to the
Mhm.
ATPs, certainly the ATP, but the WTA
Yeah,
scouts who are sitting and just putting in info on their apps on the phone. Um, perhaps it's the same in Dubai, and just the ATP scouts are not
yeah,
connected
yeah,
to the TV crew. Still, the differences are really huge. I don't believe Zverev hits 13 backhand unforced errors in that first set. I mean, especially with how 90% of the rallies are just fully in Rublev's control. So I remember saying at the beginning of this stream that I didn't think that Zverev was going to get blown out by Rublev. I'm not so sure anymore. Because, like a 6-3, 6-3, especially if we're seeing this many breaks of the Zverev serve, it is kind of a blowout,
Mm.
but we'll see.
yeah. Of course, now there's a crucial game for Zverev, because of course going down even in this, and now we have a backhand force there.
Yeah.
This is an
Even of the serve, I think Zverev recently has not been getting that much for free.
yeah,
Uh,
not so much lately.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the first serves, I think, especially those ones where Rublev gets to be aggressive of them, they've kind of lacked placement. They've been like even if he's hitting out wide, it's like 3/4 of the of the service box. Again, the first serve gives him nothing basically.
Mhm. Yeah, and here we have uh, another chance
205.
for Rublev.
Jesus. 205, and it was like he hit nothing. But again, I think it was just not placed that well, which is surprising after the matches with O'Connell and Sonego, definitely. Yeah, this time it actually does the job, but it was also, maybe it was even what made Rublev commit the error. The fact that it wasn't really, it wasn't really either into the body or it wasn't out wide. But yeah,
Mhm.
I just think the placement has not been great for the German, and that's also why he's struggling so much in these service games of
Oh,
his. Yeah, another one. Of course, he wins the point because Rublev is like very impatient here. But yeah, another one where it's just not placed well, and that's why we even get a point.
yeah. Sometimes you can be like, okay, I can blow him out of the court, so I'm going big with the shots. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's a wrong idea. Also because Rublev was better than Zverev. Oh, that's a great backhand. Uh,
Oh,
but of course, I was saying that Rublev was also able to take advantages in the rally, also because he was able to build the point really well. So he doesn't have to lose his patience and his the way of thinking, which led him to create this advantage in the match. There's a second serve from Zverev, and yeah, the ball toss is not perfect. Andrey is returning really well, even in this point. Oh, that's huge. Big forehand from Rublev. So another uh, deuce game on Zverev's serve.
Okay, my stream broke down for like a second, but I seem to be back. No, I think I'm back.
Okay.
So I didn't see that point that got us to deuce, but right now it's Zverev bouncing the ball for a very outrageous amount of time.
Yeah, no, there was a big forehand by Rublev on the backhand side, from the backhand side of the court. Hit the outside angle with the forehand, and there was a very, very big shot. So
yeah, this time was, this time I'm not criticizing the placement. Let's be honest. Like this was very dedicated into the body of Rublev. Just a lot of the time earlier, it was like so and so, I guess. But yeah, he gets the chance to get to level the match, and of course he takes it with this beautiful backhand winner. This is like the second and third time that we like see the Zverev backhand in full flight in this match, where it's just super smooth and you feel like nothing
I
can
think
really
that
go wrong.
he will be able to hit that shot even at 70 years old.
Yeah, that's true. Coming back to the poll that I mentioned earlier of whose forehand would you most like to have, if we swapped this poll and talked about the backhands of these three players, surely it's Zverev, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can be wrong, but I feel like Zverev has probably I don't know. Talking about two-handed backhand, because I know that a lot of people wanted to make a distinction, but I think that two-handed backhand is probably the most beautiful one right now. When he goes down the line, it's, I don't know, I like it. At least I like it, his backhand a lot. Also, technically, I like him very much.
Yeah, it's like super crisp and smooth. And yeah, a few times in this match he managed to get us something beautiful from that wing. I'm wondering like who who else could really be in the conversation, because of course anytime we talk about beautiful backhands, it's always going to be like one-handers mostly for a lot of people. I can instantly come up with a few one-handers that I really enjoy aesthetically, but two-handers, it's kind of hard for me.
What's this food? What John is going to eat tonight?
Yeah. Safinka Tapa Bar und Restaurante. 250 square meters. That's a huge restaurant. Something Spanish, I guess, because tapas. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find like two-handed backhands that are really aesthetically pleasing, at least for me. Like a lot of them, I think are okay.
I mean, yeah, it also depends. For example, I like very much when Djokovic hit the backhand when he's sliding on the court, of course, a bit like Swiatek. It's quite similar, the movement.
Yeah, got a great rally at 30-all, and Zverev eventually, I guess forcing the error. It's definitely not unforced, but Zverev mishit that quite heavily. Yeah, Djokovic and Zverev, I guess, are the obvious answers in terms of like most, best two-handed backhands, most aesthetically pleasing two-handed backhands, I guess. They are the obvious answers. Even though I remember there was this tennis TV video where they were asking players like who has the best backhand on tour, for example. And of course, Zverev, like he usually does, was I'd put myself in there. I think maybe this is even like the origin of that famous line. I'd put myself in there. But yeah, I think he had a case.
Yeah, I mean, he's not answering about the forehand, so we can say okay, that's okay.
And speaking about that Rublev second serve that Jane mentioned, you've just seen a phenomenal kick serve from Rublev. I mean, the ball just bounced insanely high, and these are Dubai courts where they are pretty slick. Like you need to do a lot of good work to make the ball react this way. So perhaps that's also something that we can say about the Rublev second serve that has improved over the years, because he was always playing like a little bit of a kick, but it was more like rolling the ball in, and this was amazing. And Zverev did not handle this at all. Hey guys, what are your predictions for Iga in Indian Wells and Miami? Um, hard to say without seeing the draws, but provided, like, I think she is for sure the main favorite for the two events. She's not like a favorite that needs to do it, but I suppose that we should probably see a lot more of the Iga that's played in the early rounds in Dubai or in Doha than the one from the final. I think if she plays Krejcikova, it's going to be like a hugely anticipated matchup for sure. Barbora definitely brings something to the table against her that a lot of other players don't. But I'd still have Iga as the favorite, and I think a lot of why she looked a bit under the weather in the semis and in the final in Dubai was that cold, and yeah, she should be back stronger in Indian Wells in Miami. And I think also the courts probably suit her a little bit better. In Indian Wells, you have this very high bounce, which should definitely help her topspin forehand. And Miami is just a pretty slowish hard court. So yeah, I like her chances to win. If I have to guess, I'm gonna guess she wins one and makes the semis of the other. I don't know, something like that. But of course, her winning both would not be a surprise at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. So nothing to add from my side, because yeah, of course it's impossible now to say he's going to win both or one of them, or but for sure I see no reasons for her to not doing well. I think she did well also in Doha and Dubai. You can lose a match against a player like Krejcikova. Of course, probably it would have been better to win the 1000 event and losing the final in the other. But I mean, we had better indications of course, from her than we had in Australia. So I'm optimistic, to be honest.
Oh, the cold excuse, says John on the on the chat. Uh, is it an excuse? I don't think so. I mean, even after the semis, it was a conversation topic, and you can really see that something was in a way hampering her. It's very hard, of course, to like concentrate and play with with an infection like that. It's not the first time also, I think, that she played with a cold and looked a little off. I can't remember what match I'm really thinking of, but I'm pretty sure there was something in recent memory like that as well. This is a Magdalinette fan channel, says Ghosty. Well, Magdalinette, since the Australian Open, has not been doing that well. It's going to be really, really just fascinating to see how she does at the Sunshine Double, because, well, these are going to be the first big events since that Australian Open semi. She's going to be seeded for them, which is something that she... I'm not sure. Maybe she like snatched a seeding at Indian Wells or Miami earlier, but she was definitely like not... constantly seeded for them. If I had to guess, she probably wasn't at all. Yeah, it's gonna be quite huge, and it's, I guess, early to tell if the short runs in Merida and Austin indicate that she won't be able to.
Yeah, it's early, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a concern that we talked about. Even at the Australian Open, that in Melbourne she basically played like the same opponent a few times in a row. All of these players have some different strengths and weaknesses, but
you're right. Really, Kontaveit, Garcia, this kind of
Alexandrova, Pliskova, Sabalenka.
Yeah, no, you're right.
5 similar opponents in a row. Definitely, like Garcia is better at the net. Some serve better than the others. but most of them are really just Linette's game plan was the same. So the fact that she looked so good there does not necessarily have to mean that when she faces a different opponent, like for example Osorio in Merida or even Peterson, right? These sort of more consistent players who don't throw that much pace at her. It could be tougher for her. But yeah, it's quite early to tell. I
Sorry,
guess the Sunshine double would tell us a lot.
I remember she lost to. I remember the player against which she lost, but she won one match in Merida against Osorio.
Yeah, she won against Osorio, but she was 6-7, 2-5
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I know it was tight. Okay, also
Yeah,
Osorio.
she 6-7, 2-5 down, saved too much points, won in like a crazy
Yeah, you're right.
rally.
Okay, now
And then she also
remember.
beat Udvardi, but it was also quite weird because she was leading 6-love, but then 2-5 down, and Udvardi had an injury and had to retire. So yeah, basically it's like she hasn't played a good match. In Merida Austin, she hasn't really played a good match, you can say. So yeah, coming back to the match that we're actually talking about, Rublev held quite easily, and he is 3-2 up. So yeah, any Zverev service game now, because he's behind on the scoreboard. Of course, he's not behind the break, but because Rublev started first in the second set, any Zverev service game now is he is under pressure in it, because it could mean losing his serve now. It could very easily mean that this match will be over quite soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hubi broke a fingernail. He'd be worth number one otherwise. I mean, he did play a very fine match against Djokovic yesterday. He just couldn't touch the Serbian on return at all. There was one love 30 moment, 4-5, but Djokovic just cleaned it up so easily. And otherwise, he just did not struggle at all in any service game of his. So even though these maybe these a little slicker conditions are probably better for Hurkacz in that matchup than when they played on clay, for example, if he cannot touch the serve at all, it's going to be really hard, because then of course he needs to get to at least the tie break, and he didn't.
Yeah, I think that the best possible court for Hurkacz is, for example, Bercy. Those kind. I remember I watched live him against Djokovic in 2021 in
7-6 in the third.
Yeah, it was pretty tight match, but of course Hurkacz had the time, all the time to defend the court really well, like he can do. It was very difficult for Djokovic to find some points. Yeah, of course he battled him in the second set, but it was a moment of down. On these courts he can do really, really well. Also of course in Miami he won.
Raonic must have had a really bad Yeah.
Yeah, now this could be a huge game, and we are 15-0.
Is it wise for Alcaraz to play Indian Wells? Why not just be extra cautious and wait for Miami? I mean, it's a huge event, if he's healthy, I think he should play it. It's also an event where you have a day of rest between the matches, so it's not as taxing physically. Yeah, without being doctors, without seeing his medical results.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, we can't really tell, but it was definitely. I feel like we can say, even without any medical experience, any medical knowledge, we can easily say that playing Acapulco would have been stupid. Even if the FI was okay, but Indian Wells, Miami, if he's healthy, I think he should play it. Indian Wells, he's defending the semifinals, right, against Nadal, and of course the title in Miami. But there's no telling that he's going to defend his title in Miami. He can easily, like, if he skipped Indian Wells, maybe he loses early in Miami. So it's just a lot safer to play both events. We've seen players win Indian Wells or go far in Indian Wells and then skip Miami, but it's really safe, like, to play both and then sort of figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, it's difficult to do the opposite. A lot of players usually I think that
you don't really see it, right? Like, barring injuries, you don't really see anyone skipping Indian Wells and then playing Miami.
Yeah, you're right. Especially if they are, for example, European player who plan to go Indian Wells, Miami in the USA, and then came back for clay. Some of them can just skip both. Of course, it's big events, of course. So if you aren't ready for Indian Wells, but you can be ready for Miami, it also has a sense.
I
If
think
the second serve, but he has another chance to hold the serve. So
yeah, I think actually Daniel Altmaier is skipping Indian Wells and playing Miami this year, but it is kind of different for him because he would have to play qualies in Indian Wells, of course. So, it doesn't really count. I just realized that
yeah, the other one I think that is Bonzi. Pulled out from Indian Wells, but not yet from Miami. So,
oh yeah, because he's injured, right? Oh no, isn't he?
Yeah,
No, he was in the
played,
final in Marseille.
He played the final against Urkac.
He was in the final. So why did he pull out of Indian Wells? I guess he must be injured, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't pull out from a tournament like India Wells with no reason, I think. So
yeah, I found a L'Equipe article, and they say that he has a tear in his adductor.
Okay.
So yeah, there is minimal hope for Miami, but without believing too much, said Lionel Zimbler, his coach. So yeah, there is a good chance that he's only going to play the clay season, actually. And yeah, that even Miami might not be too realistic.
Yeah, even if, of course, I understand for a player like him to try to go to Miami if he can, because of course it's also a big matter in terms of money and opportunity, and I don't know. I will do it.
John says that he remembers Bryan Cranston in Seinfeld. That's like, that's like saying you remember Roger Federer from the Brest Challenger. if you know what I mean.
Well played by both here.
Anyway, Roger Federer won the Brest Challenger in 1998, by the way. His only challenger title. Anyway, Matthew also said that it feels like there have been a lot of walkovers and players withdrawing lately. Would you agree? Yeah, I think people who also notice it, they're usually trying to assign the fact that the season is so long and that the tennis has gotten so physical to the amount of injuries, which in a way is probably true. We are seeing more injuries, and what can you do, really? I guess medical technology is also getting better, so that's a very sharp down the line forehand from inside in even from Rublev, and he misses it, but it's still 15-all, so early games and early moments in this set. John wants the third set in this match, probably because he's getting off work later and he can either join or start watching in a more convenient manner.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, Zverev, I feel like since he came back, he struggled a bit to. Oh, I'm alone. Okay. Well, I was saying that, in my opinion, since he came back, he. Okay, we had Damien. No, I was saying no. We have not Damien anymore. Okay. He's been a bit. He had a bit of fear in the movements, in change of directions and all these things. Oh, I'm so big. What's happening?
No, this time it was actually totally your fault. I mean, my camera unplugged, and I tried to plug it in, and then I accidentally clicked and a bookmark, so I left the page. Anyway, Mario challenge.
Okay, Rublev held again, and now every service game for Zverev is like all or nothing.
Oh, hey Brian, shocking. AZ is the betting favorite. Having watched the first hour and a half of this match, I agree. I wasn't really on that page beforehand, frankly. I guess that the matchup, the 5-0 that they were against each other, and just how strong Zverev was looking this week already. I guess that kind of, it made it seem justifiable for me. But in this matchup so far, like in this particular match so far, we are not seeing really any of the struggles that Rublev would usually have against the German. So, he is looking very close to a straight set win here, even though of course he has not broken yet, or we don't know what would happen in the tiebreak, but it definitely seems close to a win here.
He's talking about the player seats who look extremely comfy.
Yeah, anything in Dubai is probably luxurious. So
Yeah. Oh, Nadal caught a cold, as per recent news from John. Let's see how Zverev is going to deal with this game. Last service game was pretty comfortable, if I remember well.
Yeah, I think all of them in this set have been rather comfortable.
It just started with
the first one, right? It was a deuce, but otherwise, like the last 5 games or something like that, they have all been no history, pretty much, which is more what we expected from this match in the first place.
Yeah, usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
In the start, players with big serves held their service game quite comfortably, and maybe going on, they started to understand better some things on return and put some pressure. Now
it's pretty normal to start reading the serve better as the match goes on. We'll see if Zverev can also hold so easily this time. He has a good start to it. Rublev, again, trying to be quite aggressive on the first serve. Doesn't get the timing right, but over the course of the match, it's definitely given him a lot more joy than pain and suffering. You're not getting to this serve, though. And we are seeing a little better, spot serving from Zverev, especially in this first game. Basically on the line on these first two first serves, whereas in the first game, I think especially of this set, and in some games in the first set, I was criticizing him a bit for the placement, not being too risky. Here it's perfect again, so perhaps the German has made some adjustment in that regard, or maybe he's just started hitting it better.
And that's it. Okay. So,
no return made. Zverev, other than the 4 serves, did not have to touch the ball in this game. 2 aces and 2 unreturned serves. Actually, Rublev had a play on both, but of course it was a pretty good first serve each time, so can't really blame him for not doing it. 32 minutes for this set only, if I said correctly, which
you're right.
Further exemplifies how quick, how fast-paced this set has been so far, especially compared to the first one, where we just had a lot more rallies, a lot more play.
Yeah, a lot more rallies, a lot of tight games. Yeah, it's been a pretty long first set compared to the number of games played, and now the things have changed, uh, have extremely changed, and now of course the pressure is growing on both shoulders, and Rublev hit a fantastic forehand, got a cold. I'm getting a cold.
It's not sunny in Italy right now.
This last week was an amazing weather. Here in southern Italy, we had like 20 degrees, but we can have 20 degrees in every month of the year.
Mhm.
No, this week is quite cloudy and cold, to be honest, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay even
Today
because
I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to catch a train at 5:40. So yeah, it was quite cold, but in general it's okay-ish. I'm not
yeah.
complaining. It's
Yeah, no,
fairly.
me too, even because I am in one of the sunniest place
Mhm.
in Europe, so I really can't.
Yeah, yeah. The Mediterranean boys definitely have it easier than the Baltic Sea boys.
Yeah, that's huge from Zverev. We are in an important moment for all 30 all. So
Yeah, we see what can happen when Rublev is kind of not applying that much pressure in a rally.
mm-mm.
Zverev suddenly finds that big backhand standing 2 meters behind the baseline, but of course, hitting it with the frame that he has, it was still a huge hit. The ball
Okay.
boy moved, right? But to
Yeah.
catch the ball a bit earlier, but it did not hinder Zverev, so correctly not, the umpire did not call it. Or Rublev, of course, in that case. But
Yeah, Rublev played well. Even if I was just saying when you were a bit in and out, I was saying that I feel like Zverev is not looking so comfortable in moving, in changing direction since he came back from the injury.
hmm.
Um, I feel like he has some kind of mm, reminiscence of not of what happened, but of course I feel like he tried to stay a little more careful in at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean it's normal to be like afraid a bit, like mentally. Um, I've actually like had a couple of ankle injuries in my well, career is not the right word because I suck. But I did have a couple of ankle injuries in my table tennis playing days, and after that, it's definitely very hard to return to like a normal
Mm.
footwork patterns, especially as first you're gonna play in some sort of a brace, and yeah, then just it's kind of hard to just push yourself to make some extra movement that you would usually do. Yeah, but after a while, you stop caring anymore.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
forget that you had a twisted ankle or something like that, and you just do it once again. Okay, and Zverev gets a
Yeah, Zverev
huge
is
backhand
trying.
return, and yeah, this he clearly has a lot of intent to try to make this game a bit of a turning point. And of course, if he loses it, and given that Rublev is serving, it's likely this would be the first game when if Zverev loses the next one, the
Mm.
match is gone. We haven't seen a situation like that in this match yet. It's an interesting sliced serve. I think Zverev is probably claiming that it was a let, which honestly it kind of looked like it, but
Yeah, Rublev is serving. He's using very well today the slice, even the kick sometimes.
Yeah,
He's
that
trying
second
to.
serve, right, on
Mm,
the and at game point a few games earlier was fantastic.
he did it. So that's a big hold for Andrey Rublev, and now he's potentially one game away from winning the match.
Ghosty says he's gotta go. See ya, mate. Hopefully, your favorite Andrei Rublev is gonna end this match for you pretty quickly, but we'll see. I've got a scheduling problem. If anyone asks, you can tell them I've caught a cold.
Okay, don't
Cold has
worry.
definitely been a theme of this stream. Thanks,
Thank you.
John, Damien, Mario. Thanks, mate, for being here. Let's see how Zverev reacts to that pressure that is going to be, quite heavy on him now, given the fact that if he loses his serve, it's game set match. But as we said, this set it hasn't really been that tight on his delivery. Only that first game, and since then it's really been smooth sailing. But in the past he has not always handled pressure on his serve that well. Of course, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
double faults and the sort of eeps that he's been having. So it's a question, and Rublev will try to pose it to him. Maybe it's a good game for Rublev
Yeah.
to
By the
sort of.
way,
Mhm.
Zverev has a very, very good 76% of a first serve in.
Yeah.
But on the second serve, he went 4 out of 14. So 29%, while Rublev has 13 out of 20. So it's more than 60%. So yeah, let's see if he's going to keep putting to so many first serves. He's serving to stay in the match.
There's a very good return from Rublev, who gets full control of the point, although Zverev did well to come back with another one of these backhand down the line stunners. Yeah. This time Rublev was in a better position, but it was very similar to that winner that Zverev hit a few games back.
Yeah, very well.
Just 5 meters behind the baseline, 3 meters outside the sideline, and yet he still finds a very good strike with it.
That's out two first serves, but both times Rublev got into the rally. Could have easily been love 30, to be honest, but Zverev has been good in the first point. So 15 all in this very important 10th game of the match, not of the match, of the set, of course. Another impressive return. But Zverev has been very good here.
Yeah, that's another one of these super smooth backhands where you're like, oh, this guy is gonna be,
even because when you, I watched 3 or 4 live matches from Zverev, and on TV you feel like you don't feel all the power he hits with his backhand when you watch the movement. But yeah, when you are live right there, you realize how strong, powerful, and precise is this shot, of course.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I saw Alexander Zverev live, and I might actually. I don't think I have. I did see Rublev, but maybe I didn't see Zverev.
I've been in the Rome final. He won against Djokovic.
Yeah.
Then I've been in Bercy 2021, and I saw him winning against Dimitrov and losing against Medvedev in the semi.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen Zverev live. Rublev, yeah, but not Zverev.
John has seen Zverev against Rafa at Roland Garros.
It's a good match to see him in, I guess.
Yeah.
Although, of course, it was cut short, but it was still 3 hours. So
yeah, 3 hours. So could have been worse. Of course, not a happy ending, regardless of who anyone was cheering for.
yeah,
But
I mean, Nadal fans were probably happy.
no,
I mean, if your player is struggling so much, and you're so scared about him losing, you're not gonna
of course, but
you would rather he won, like, crush the guy.
I agree, but probably you realize this after half an hour. I don't know. In the moment, I think that it's just ugly to watch a thing like that.
Like, ugly for sure. Yeah.
Zverev thinks that
again about the lets, right? Yeah, I mean, this one I'm not sure, but I think the sliced serve on that ace out wide from Rublev in the last game, I think he might have been right on. Like, I think I thought it was a let too. The ball that did seem to, like, change its trajectory mid-air a bit. This time I'm not sure, but
yeah, this time I'm sure the serve hit the net.
So you're sure this time? Yeah. So apparently, Zverev is right, and the let machine is crazy. But, well, nothing he can do about it.
he said sorry, but
it wasn't hit cleanly, and I mean, the sheer, like, idea was kind of weird too.
Yeah, but
he didn't really know what to do with it. But, well,
yeah, but
I guess it was a
like
good,
he's been so lucky, to be honest.
Yeah, he solved the problem well. He was in a very uncomfortable position to hit the volley and somehow got out of it. So,
I mean, he made the movement with the racket to
that's true,
to hit a thing like that. So
it is slightly lucky, but yeah, a lot of these reactive volleys are most of the time, like, when you make a great stop volley on the stretch, it usually contains a lot of luck. So, and you don't really see players apologizing for it. Like, it's just a matter of whether the angle of your racket.
Yeah, of course. We
right,
also know that Rublev sometimes is also too much polite in these situations sometimes. But of course, it's not a bad thing.
Oh, we see that guy who was once in the same photo with Stefanos Tsitsipas in a stadium at Roland Garros. That's quite interesting. That guy definitely seems to, like, meet or talk with tennis players a lot. Interesting. I wonder if he talks tennis. Probably does. Anyway, we have another one of these games soon where Sasha Zverev is going to be trying to hold, because otherwise it's game over for Rublev. If Rublev breaks, then we also have it's also game over for our stream. So, in case you guys want to have us around for a longer time, root for Zverev now, because of course Rublev has already secured himself a tiebreak in this set.
Yeah, also
in
because
case you guys just want us to go
after the match, we can't prolong this so much because there's the other important match to start. So,
I mean, I had this very lame joke in mind where I would now say that, yeah, of course you're talking about Rinderknecht Struff in Paul, but
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
of course.
I will actually be watching that rather than Medvedev Djokovic.
Yeah, I knew that you were watching that.
I'm actually even not sure if I would be watching this one if if not for the stream, but I also don't really mind it. I probably should be watching more of these big high profile matches that I do. Yeah, we'll see. Zverev got the first point, of course, with a huge serve. How else? And on the other one, Rublev gets it in. So there is a rally. This time it's Zverev dictating with his forehand, but Rublev gets back into it. And there's the mistake. Yeah, we saw just in many of these rallies where, if Zverev gets Rublev on the defense, he's not really able to maintain that sort of pressure. He's been winning points maybe more with like one huge shot rather than actually like crafting it well, which has been a bit of an issue over the course of the match, especially in the first set, of course, because the second has been as tight as nails, basically. Yeah, and this time Rublev goes for another huge serve. This is probably a huge return. This is probably the game where you'll be like, you can kind of start thinking about whether maybe Rublev should make Zverev play more, because of course there's the added pressure of having to serve to win this game.
Yeah, that's right. Even if in some way you also need to still do what makes you being successful so far in the match. You have to try to stay balanced between making him play more and still try to stay in your plan. Now we have two chances for Zverev. Very good first serve, but then the forehand hits the net and goes wide. So 40-30, we have another chance for him.
Second serve, which is a rarity apparently in this match. Also his first, the first time he misses his first serve in the opening game.
He has 80%.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see some nerves maybe because that forehand was just pretty awful.
The second serve was actually a good serve.
Yeah, he seems to have this ability of like, if he's not trying to go for the line, he is just really good about like putting his first serve in, putting a dangerous second serve in.
Yeah.
When he's not trying to go for the line, he has a lot of like consistency on it. I mean, 80% first serves here. Something about that, like that, in the Sonego match as well, right? Oh, and there's a time violation for these bounces that I mentioned earlier. They weren't like
he was risking. I saw the clock many times. And
getting close but not getting there. And another second serve, and of course this is a big because he's been 4 out of 15 on his second serve so far in his career. In this match. Jesus. Ouch. But you gotta respect the fact that he like really was going for that forehand.
Yeah, no, at this point he played how he
should, yeah, very close to finding the line on that down the line. Maybe it didn't have to be that low margin, but yeah, he wasn't really like passive. He wasn't looping it as he often does in the. Yeah, Rublev was actually kind of fortunate to get to a couple of these forehands on the slides. They were like, they had no net coverage. They were bouncing like just behind the net and barely making it over, but they did, and that makes the difference.
And we
And
have
it's
a match point.
Yeah. Okay.
Say.
Yeah, the serve was good, and Rublev's return was just too short. But yeah, that's not really a fault of his or anything. Zverev cleaned up the +1 forehand, which wasn't like 99% shot. It was a 99% shot. It was better than if you're like shooting at an empty goal, but of course under pressure it can be tough.
Ace.
And that serve could bring him to a tiebreak because he has a game point now. A big ace down the tee. His 10th ace of the match. And there's his 11th ace of the match. Yeah. And we've arrived where all the second set was headed. This was where we thought this was gonna end up, basically since like the 4th or 5th game, and yeah, here we are. It's a tiebreaker for these two guys, but of course Rublev had the only break point of the entire set, and it was also a match point. Not much he could do on it though.
No. So let's see who starts better in this tiebreak. Rublev held his serve, let's say this, his point on serve. That's another big serve.
Yeah, so far no returns put in after the first 2 points in this match. Okay. Yeah.
Who asked? Rublev.
Zverev is challenging the call because I think the out call that we heard came from the crowd, and Zverev stopped the point. I don't think he was right though, right? It looked like the ball was in, but we'll see. It is in. It's barely in. It's like, yeah.
I agree, to be honest, because you have to understand how much.
Yeah,
I know that if it's in, but I can understand.
It is in, but like ultra barely, yeah.
Of course, if you challenge, I understand that you also want to know how much of the ball was.
Yeah. I think if I heard it, Maria Cicak just said that it was 1 millimeter. Yeah, you can see on the it's like if it's touching the sideline, it's barely, it's probably course. in like the statistical error.
If the machine says that it's in, but right. I can understand that if you're asking to challenge the call, you want to understand.
Yeah. Initially from the angle, I thought it was like more inside the line, and that's why I was surprised that Zverev stopped play. But if that was where the ball landed, then I can get it. What is Rublev complaining about now? I mean,
I don't know, but it's a very bad second serve. I
Yeah,
have the
I mean-
volume, but it's low, so I can't understand practically anything.
yeah, he actually, like, I don't know if it was that poor. I mean, he risked it. Whether he had to, that's another a topic for another day, I guess. But it was risky and it just didn't pan out. But this time the serve is better, but of course it was the first one, and he just gets the plus one forehand good enough that Zverev can't catch it. Yeah, I agree that Zverev's movement in terms of defense, changing directions, I don't think it's what it was before. And that's probably why Rublev has the upper hand in this matchup now, even though we're still very tight in the second set, compared to in the past where he just wasn't able to hit through Zverev, Medvedev.
Now 1 point before the changeover. And it's a great return. And 4-2. Rublev is doing very, very well on return. At least in terms of the pure quality of the return. And then sometimes he hasn't been really able to close the rally. But in general, he's returning very well. It's long. Here, Zverev made some good defense action. It was, of course, a very, very important point. So now Rublev has to service point to try to reach another match point. It's out.
This one is challenge. Is it out, really?
I think it's out, but
I saw it in, but we'll see. Yeah, I guess it's out, yeah.
For all. That's a big point. Oh, this forehand. Even because he had the advantage. So Rublev is safe for now. 5-4. Big rally. Rublev can try to attack and match point.
Got so much depth on the backhand cross court and went on from there, really. played that sharper forehand cross court, and yeah, Zverev just didn't get to the ball in time. But
Second serve. Oh,
some pretty fierce hitting, and Zverev eventually draws out the error. Yeah, very ballsy on that forehand, especially, and
that was
at the
a good
beginning
rally.
of the point. Yeah,
Third match point, but the first with
on
Rublev
Rublev's serve,
serving.
yeah.
Second serve for him.
Oh wow! Is this Rublev's time to blow match points after saving 5 against Davidovich Fokina?
This second serve.
It was an attempt of doing the same as he did on that.
Yeah, you're right, but
yeah,
of course, with when you are going to Zverev's backhand, you have to be 100% precise.
On that previous point, Zverev tried to go down the line, did not land it at all. I think also bounced higher, and here, yeah, he just got a very nice hit, top to bottom, cross court. But yeah, there's a fourth one.
Fourth match point.
This one and one more, and then Zverev can replicate Rublev's comeback against Davidovich Fokina. But of course, there the 5 points were also consecutive, so that was kind of different.
Ace. Rublev is challenging.
Yeah, that looks like a bit of a hope challenge, but we'll see.
It's in.
Yeah.
So 4 match points gone. Let's see if Zverev can have a set point now. Yeah. Set point.
Yeah. It was not that clean on that +1 forehand this time. For sure not.
Set point
and
number
made
1.
it a bit of a mess, but he did clinch it eventually. Still, wasn't the cleanest way to win the point, but it works, and that's what's important right now. And Rublev does not have the sort of serve that Zverev has, so winning 2 points right now is not a guarantee. Although he can help himself with a good first serve for sure. 4 match points blown already.
Second serve.
Yeah. How does he serve now? That's a big question for him. Probably a bit of a kicker at the middle, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, this is such a big chance missed for Zverev because you could see how tense Rublev was, right?
yeah. I perceived all this tension.
There was no pop. Yeah, nothing much at all. Even that first backhand that he hit right after the serve, it was mishit. And then from that point onwards, he was just rolling the ball back to Zverev to see what he does with it. And yeah, that's definitely a huge chance missed. The next point is still, of course, crucial. We either get another set point for Zverev.
And another second serve here. Ooh! There was the chance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second serve was full of tension. And yeah, Zverev did a kind of a Wozniacki thing, trying to go with a backhand instead of the forehand, but he missed it. Fifth match point.
Now we can get the reverse Davidovich-Fokina comeback if Zverev wins it from here.
Rublev is still staying in the rally, even if he is defending. And now he can close, probably, no. Oh!
Oh, wow.
We're still...
Yeah, that forehand defense on the slide got Rublev into the point, right? Again, it really helped him stay around, but
yeah, he had the chance with the forehand, but yeah, we can feel the tension in Rublev's racket. He's not ball striking like he did for 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, he is definitely not, and of course that's very understandable given the situation in the match that we find ourselves in at the moment, which is pretty crazy, of course. But if he wins this point, then he gets a 6th match point, this time again on his own serve. So and he will win this point. Another very
good.
Like the placement again on
the placement was
not first serve, right? It's not even at the body, it's not even out wide, it's just straight into Rublev's
and
zone.
it's perfect. It's perfect for Rublev. He did it like 20 times today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's straight into Rublev's hitting zone. He doesn't even need to move at all. He just makes the forehand motion.
The footstep and then the forehand.
Yeah. And that's something that Zverev has been doing a lot more than he should today. But he is in this point. Oh, Jesus. Rublev wins
this game 7 match.
First time.
Yeah, okay. He did it.
Yeah. Nice show, I think. Rublev was definitely the better player when it comes to like the whole match, I think.
I agree.
But yeah, it could have went the other way around even because of the tiebreak. Rublev got tight in the end, for sure, which kind of shows you that, everyone can be a choker. Like sometimes you're the one who chokes, sometimes you're the one who is on the receiving end, like he was against Davidovich.
Of course.
No one is really free of nerves in such a spot. But yeah, how do you like Rublev's chances against either Djokovic or Medvedev?
I think that I'm not saying anything special, saying that I think that he would prefer to face Medvedev, even if Medvedev is in great form. and of course he would be in an even better shape and mentally if he beats Djokovic today. But I still feel that if Djokovic plays like he can do, it's very, very, very difficult for Rublev to hit some kind of winners against him, and to even the rally with the forehand is very, very, very difficult. While probably sometimes with Medvedev, if Medvedev is not in a perfect day with his forehand, he can try to create some damage in the rally, and I feel he has a slight better chance against Medvedev than compared to Djokovic. I still feel that, of course, the winner of the second semifinal probably will start the final as the big favorite to win. But today Rublev played much better than he did in the first few rounds. I feel that there are some positives to take also for Zverev, because he made a solid week, and today, after I think a bad first set, but in the second set he started finding some good serves and hitting better with the backhand, and also sometimes with the forehand, struggling a bit at times, but other times he did well. I think that there are positives for both players in the end of the day after this match. Of course, Zverev, because we have to compare to which Zverev did in his these previous weeks.
Yeah, it's hard to like Rublev's chances against Djokovic for sure after what happened when they last played at the Australian Open. But against Medvedev, yeah, he's just beaten him twice in a row. I think it's not as scary of a matchup as it used to be in the past for him. Also because Daniil is probably not quite at his very best, although of course he's coming off 2 titles. But still, I think you could argue that he's probably like at 90% of his capabilities or something like that, and he could be tired, right? Rotterdam, Doha. If he beats Djokovic in the semis, it's probably a very long physical match. So
Cool, yeah.
I think Rublev has a very nice shot against Medvedev. He wouldn't be the favorite, provided maybe if Medvedev plays for like 4 hours against Djokovic, then yeah. But generally, he wouldn't be the favorite against Medvedev. He would definitely be the underdog against Djokovic. But yeah, great showing. And as what you mentioned during the broadcast, but he clearly motivates himself for these matches. So you could see that today, that he comes out with very different intensity, very different focus as well. He kind of lost it in the tiebreaker, but like not lost it in the sense that he had a meltdown, but he dropped.
Yeah,
the
but
focus
still
for a moment,
in the end, still he did quite good job when he had, for example, a set point down, and
yeah,
of course you can struggle a little bit in the tiebreak. He wasn't 6-1 up like Davidovich Fokina was the other day, so it was more okay to not I don't know, to not win those points. Still he managed to win, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I see that we were supposed to do a 3 minutes wrap and say bye. So basically, we just did that, I think. Is there anything, Mario, that you would like to say, at the end?
Yes. Okay. No, sorry.
No, I was just asking if there is anything, any closing thoughts that you have, or are we just
to be honest,
wrapping it up?
I said what I wanted to say about this match. I quite enjoyed, even if I a bit disagree with the unforced errors number we are seeing on the screen. I feel like it's a bit too high, 39 for Zverev.
No. Yeah, that's definitely the same statistician that did the first set and gave
Yeah,
the
you're right.
13 backhand
So
unforced errors. That's
I think
bollocks.
that
No?
it's been yeah, more or less a good match, and I would just spend the last word to Zverev, because this week can be a nice step forward for him, to try to have him fully back soon, because of course it's a good addition to the game with the quality he has.
Yeah, and I guess that's also it for me. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for all the messages in the chat, and also the guys the people who watched while not chatting. Hope you enjoyed the match. Hope you enjoyed our input, and see ya at some other Talking Tennis stream in the future.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.